quality or quantity? Which is best when it comes to YouTube? If you increase the quantity of videos that you post, you increase the opportunity for feedback. Phase 3 is how can we not just do quality, but also increase the quantity through leverage. We're gonna talk about 3 tips that will settle this question once and for all. This question has kept creators up at night, has caused lives to be lost, has caused people to go into an endless cycle of despair and worry and uncertainty because there is not an answer to this one question. The question is quality or quantity, which is best when it comes to YouTube? Some would say just upload as many videos as possible and eventually one will pop off. Others would recommend that you spend extreme amounts of time polishing the perfect video. So who's right? Who's wrong? And what ultimately is the answer? The truth is, the answer to this question differs depending on the season of YouTube that you're in. And in this episode of the Think Media Podcast, we're gonna talk about 3 tips that will settle this question once and for all. Now, I gotta give credit where credit is due. And I recently heard Alex Hormozi's answer to this question, and I thought about that in comparison to my own experience and realized I think he's got it. That's exactly right. And so let's break it down. Phase 1, quantity. The best answer if you are just starting is always going to be quantity and not quality. Here's why. If you are truly just starting on YouTube, chances are you may not even fully know what you want to talk about yet. You don't have any camera skills. You haven't really figured out your voice. You don't have much experience creating content. Now, to argue this point, you could point to a creator who starts a brand new channel and from day one, they're bringing a high level of quality. But I would argue they probably have previous experience elsewhere. Maybe they've had another channel. Maybe they've had an acting career. Maybe they have a media company backing them. A lot of times, if you start with quality, you actually aren't starting from zero. But assuming you are starting from zero and video is new to you and YouTube is new to you, quantity is absolutely the best strategy for phase 1. This gives you 2 things. It gives you practice and it gives you feedback from the audience. Many people have heard the story of Mr. Beast, who talks about how he uploaded 200 terrible videos before he started to get real momentum on YouTube. If you look at the gaming creator PewDiePie, he uploaded hundreds of videos before he started to get momentum. And when you ask either of those creators how they feel about their first videos, they would tell you the videos sucked. They were terrible. They were really bad. But I was getting practice. I was getting experience. I was learning the process of creating videos, and I was learning the skills necessary for being a content creator. So in phase 1, quantity is better than quality because the more reps you can put in, the quicker you can develop your skills. The second benefit is you actually get feedback from your audience. Let's say you already have some momentum or some skills, but you're still not quite sure which topics or which content formats are gonna resonate. If you increase the quantity of videos that you post, you increase the opportunity for feedback. Let's say eventually you get to 100 videos. Now you can go and look back and say, okay, which topics out of these videos resonated with people the most? Which ones got the most comments? Which ones perform the best? And what can I learn from those? What you're getting is invaluable feedback from your audience or invaluable feedback from the market because phase 1 is testing. And the more tests you can do in terms of quantity, the better. Creators that have entered phase 2 typically have 30, 50, 100, 200 videos under their belt. And now they've assessed their videos, they've grown some skills, they've practiced, they've gotten the audience feedback, and they make a pivot to say, okay, maybe I'm not gonna do a challenge to upload a video every day for 31 days. Maybe I'm gonna slow down a little bit, identify the topics that have resonated most, take the skills that I've learned and apply them to making some banger polished YouTube videos. The reason you can create quality is because of the insights you learned in the quantity stage. And so my question for you is, which phase are you in? Do you need to be taking more massive, messy action, uploading more videos, analyzing the results, and continuing to build your skills? Or have you reached phase 2 where you should slow down and actually invest your skills, your learnings, your understanding of YouTube, your understanding of video creation, of communication into one video that maybe takes a week to make, one video that maybe takes a month to make. A story comes to mind of when I did a 4-part series on how to make a YouTube video, but I didn't just rush through this series. I made 4 distinct parts on preparation, shooting, editing, and then uploading. I planned it out, scripted it out, multiple sets, multiple different locations, and I ultimately then uploaded 1 video a week for 4 weeks. Going into the series, I had a feeling that this series would do incredibly well, and each episode in the series got hundreds of thousands of views, which was good for the content that I typically create. It was outperforming everything else. Why? Because I slowed down to invest in quality. Furthermore, I went into this process knowing that I was going to actually combine that 4-part series into a super long video. We call them content marathons. And that video has now generated millions of views. What's the punchline? This wasn't just an upload daily vlogs as much as I can and YouTube shorts all the time. This was about slowing down, investing in quality. And because of these skill sets and practice and learning and my understanding of even what the audience wanted, I went into that 4-part series and 1 super long video knowing that it was going to do well. Of course, there's always risk and mystery around will it do really well. But once the content marathon got a couple million views, I was like, yeah, it's exactly the plan. Like that's what I was going for. I could have never had those insights had I not graduated from phase 1, quantity, into phase 2, quality. But my friend, we're not done because there is a 3rd phase. And the 3rd phase is quality and quantity. At this stage, you not only know how to make amazing videos, but now you can make more of them. Now, for the solo creator, this might be an unreachable goal, but if you start to build your team, if you start to collaborate or have different content creators involved, if you have invested in editors or team or systems, then there is no reason why you can't do a lot of videos and also have the quality of them be great. Typically, that's going to be impossible if you're a 1-man or a 1-woman band. But as you grow, if you've done a lot of videos and broke through, started to make quality videos, got monetized, started to build up your YouTube business, now you could reinvest your revenues and reinvest your profits in team, in systems to not just increase quality, but also increase quantity. You know, I think about Think Media, and obviously it's easier to create a lot of good videos on Think Media when Omar's creating videos and Nolan's creating videos and I'm creating videos. And so that's a team thing though. There's systems around that. At Think Media right now, we post 350 pieces of content a week. Now you might say some of the stuff that you're posting is not the greatest quality. And I would agree. Like there's some clips that are a 7 or maybe a 6.5. Like our scoring system is kind of like, if it's at least like a 6.5 at the lowest, a 6. But if the video is a 7, 8, 9, or a 10, then let's post it. But if it's a 4 or a 3, if it's a 5, we should leave it on the cutting room floor. Like the quality is too low because we want people to at least get some good information, some good education. And how you define quality and quantity is different. In education, our niche, it's content value, not necessarily production value or even entertainment value. People come to learn. A lot of the videos we create were not meant to be viral videos. They're educational videos, just like this. It's a video podcast. But what does quality mean? Well, hopefully you're learning something. It's valuable. You walk away with the impression that my time wasn't wasted. I learned something new. I can apply it to my channel. And so there's different definitions of quality and quantity, but here's the punchline. The reason we're able to upload all of that content now across platforms is a team thing, is a system thing. It's because there's revenues that have been generated at the business that are ultimately able to be applied to the content we're producing. And when I heard Alex Hormozi break down these 3 phases, that's what him and Layla are doing at a whole nother level at acquisition.com. His head of production, I think is his title, Caleb Ralston, is actually a friend of mine. We go way back to a small town an hour north of Seattle, Washington, and we actually grew up doing video together in our local church. And I remember when we first, Gary Vaynerchuk came to Bellingham, Washington, and he came on one of our channels back in the day, and Caleb was like a videographer we hired at the time. He was a videographer for Gary V for a while, and now he works for Alex and Layla. But the punchline is, I think they are spending something like $100 to $125 to $150,000 a month on content creation. That is being invested in editors and strategists and people that are focused on each individual platforms. And from an entrepreneurial mindset, this might be hard for some of us to relate to, but it makes a lot of sense from a business owner standpoint, especially when you're doing something at the scale that they're doing. Phase 3 is how can we not just do quality, but also increase the quantity through leverage. What's leverage? It means that I'm able to hire somebody else, use tools, use people, use systems to multiply quality content, not just across YouTube, but across all the platforms. So which phase are you in? Are you in phase 1, where it's about quantity and learning skills? Phase 2, where it's about quality and maybe doubling down and putting out some bangers that can really grow your brand? Or phase 3, where you're ultimately doing both? And maybe which phase could you get to because it's time to make a pivot? It's time to maybe invest some dollars, hire an editor, outsource some things, lean into some AI software, learn into some things that could take your long form and, multiply it more in short form. I honestly think, and I'm curious your feedback, that this is the definite answer. Which one is most important on YouTube? Well, it depends which phase you're in. If you got value out of this episode, it would mean the world to me if you like, rate, or review the podcast wherever you watch or listen to it. And if you actually want to learn more about the perfect video recipe that will help you increase the quality of your videos, we have a free video series here on the Think Media podcast that will link up on the show notes, or if you're on the YouTube version, just click or tap the YouTube end card. Appreciate you so much. Sending you love and respect, and we will talk soon.